I'm all about hostages coming home, like the Israeli hostages, and just whoever's being held hostage. I want them to come home. But these people who are like dunking, it's about time these hostages are coming home, the monsters and Hamas and yada, yada, yada. And you go, well, hey, y'all, it was a required part of this agreement that explicitly had to be said that you will not hold the women and children any longer. That's not good guy behavior. It's like they took someone hostage. It's like in response, you took hostage. It's like, yeah, but they did it first. We were always told he did it first didn't matter, you know? Is it moral or is it immoral? Welcome to Loaded Talk. I am your congressman, the third most popular candidate to ever be. I am Frank, and along with me as always...
What's up, planet Earth? I'm Bean.
It is the Beanernator. It's going to be like Sharknado, but it's going to be Bean-nado. It's going to be just as popular.
Just a bunch of beans going everywhere?
It's like the first Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but with beans. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
They just rolled around. For the sequel, they're like, what if they turned into fly honeys and bikinis? You go, yeah, okay. And that's what they did. And there was a few more of the Killer Tomatoes. That's what we're talking about today. It's all Attack of the Killer Tomatoes all day. All right. So there has been things happening that don't have to do with the devil fruit, the vomit fruit, the worst food on the planet, the tomato. And it has to do with arguably one of the worst regions, or the best, depending on if you're going biblical or not. Theoretically, this is Thursday, the 9th. So you're going to probably be hearing this on the 10th or later. As of right now, there is agreement on the peace in the Middle East. Credit where credit's due. This is, if you happen to view the 20-point plan for Gaza peace deal that we did for our Loaded Grok last week. This is that has been agreed to by all parties. Here, we'll just jump to old Presidente Trumpo. That's what he had to say about it on his truth. He truthed it. I'm very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. I wonder how many of the 20 points are in the first phase.
That's a good question.
I guess maybe there is a bunch of if-thens, like withdrawal to this point, this happened. I guess the first phase is the hostages, though, so I guess that doesn't happen. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line as the first steps towards a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. All parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for Arab and Muslim world, Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States of America. And we thank the mediators from Qatar, or Qatar, whatever we're saying these days, Egypt, and Turkey, who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. So that's the announcement. As we talked about, actually, if you pull up a tab, I think over here, just type in BBC real quick. I probably still have it up here. That's probably it right there. Yep, look at that. I am a wizard. So, once again, go to Loaded Grok segment to see all the points. A lot of the stuff is about... It's all just gobbledygook goop about not being radical and stuff. But
don't be jerks.
Don't be jerks is like the first two bits. Okay, so number 3, if both sides agree, so that's what's happened now. The war will immediately end. That's not exactly it, but Israeli forces will withdraw to the agreed-upon line for hostage release. During this time, all military operations, including aerial and artillery bombardment, will be suspended, and battle lines will remain frozen until conditions are met for complete stage withdrawal. Okay. So in practice, this isn't exactly how it's going. We did have... I guess we'll show this too. shortly after this announcement, there was a report from the Middle East. And I will say, with everything, whether it comes from Hamas or Al Jazeera or Israel or whatever, grain of salt. So many grains of salt. There's not an honest broker in this when you talk about the organizations that are either the Israeli government or the Hamas, quote unquote government. These are a bunch of liars constantly. And we just hope they stop the war stuff. Anyway, this is shortly after this. I don't think we don't need volume. This is basically tanks shooting at people after this agreement in Gaza City, or at least in northern Gaza. Reports say it's people trying to walk to their homes. It looks like a bunch of men, likely military-age men. Oh, there's another firing. So the reports that it's probably families walking back to their homes may be slightly exaggerated. But to the credit of Hamas, which I assume how they pronounce it. What? Come on. One fist. Come on. Hamas. But to their credit, they did post this thing that was like, hey, don't go back to northern Gaza yet. Like, we're going to wait till IDF pulls back, then we go in. So as opposed to just taking the opportunity a couple hours in to be like, well, Israel already broke the peace deal. Let's go in. There's been other reports of not peace in this time, but it does seem like all the sides are kind of in agreement that in spite of what you hear about it being immediate's kind of a fuzzy word. It's like Israeli troops are going to come back to this point. After that, y'all can go over there. I don't know what you're going there for. Sandbox. I guess you want to see where things used to be. See maybe some remains of people you love. There's not a lot there is what I'm saying, Charlie.
They got the beach.
The beach now goes all the way to the end of Gaza. No. It's like Treasure Island. Just because you've touched the sand doesn't mean you're anywhere close to the water. But it is the beach. Actually, here, let's take a little peeky. This is, let me see. I'm going to read their caption. Once again, grain of sand, times of Gaza is the account saying this. Israel has dropped about 200,000 tons of explosives in Gaza since October 7th, equivalent to nearly 13 Hiroshima bombs. Now, this is over the course of like 2 years or something, right?
He's doing bomb math. This is great.
Bomb math is fun. Yeah, so we'll look at this. We've talked about the Google Maps once they updated it. This is essentially that. I accidentally hit too many things. So before, there's like city grids. You see roads and things like that. One might see with the city. Dark areas that are likely buildings. Now it looks like a fine slice of Japanese Kobe beef. It's a little Japanese white steak there. Whoop, and going back, that's what it used to look like. Oh, here he goes again. Juxtaposed JavaScript. All right, that's fine. We get the point. Yes, Charlie.
13 Hiroshima bombs.
I think without the radiation is the implied part, I think.
What? I mean, I don't know. If I set 13 Hiroshima bombs off, I feel like they would all be gone. Like, all of it.
Yeah. You know.
I don't like their bomb math.
It could be that kind of fun with statistics we were talking about, kind of like Gavin Newsom talking about how good California's economy is. It's you can lie with statistics, telling totally accurate statistics in a dishonest way. Now, I think if you dropped 13 at once, but maybe if it was like, what was it? Was it Fat Man and Little Boy? So which one was Hiroshima? Maybe that one was Little Boy. I don't know.
I think that was Little Boy.
Do you know?
No. Confidently, no, but I think you're right.
Okay. I'll go with it. Charlie says yes. So maybe with Little Boy, if you did 13 over 2 years, a lot more radioactive though. So this is without the radioactive aspect of it. But anyway, there's nothing there. I don't know why people would be rushing to go back. I do think that might be a slight exaggeration that it was a bunch of happy citizens running back. And I think, there's a lot of videos coming out with happy Palestinians waving flags and cheering, all that stuff. God is good and whatnot. I don't know if all of them are videos from the last 24 hours or not. I know at least one of them was from a previous peace agreement in January. But it's everybody's using this opportunity to make their little epic side-eye points. If you're a big supporter, if Israel can do no wrong, you say, look at how well-fed everyone looks. Oh, look, everyone's so happy. I guess it's not a genocide. I guess no one's starving. Look,
$7,000.
ching, 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 ching. God. We should just. I'll say whatever you want.
We love Israel. Where's my money?
I mean, they're never wrong about anything. I think it's the important thing. And the Holy Land that they occupy is good that they occupy it because they protect Jesus. If not for Bibi Netanyahu, no one would protect Jesus. Think about it.
Wow.
Yeah. What would they do to Mary? If not for Bibi Netanyahu and his love of Christianity and Christians around the globe and all of the people of the world.
And Muslims.
And Muslims especially.
He wants to give them water.
He loves them and he loves Muhammad. And he would not want you to draw a picture of Muhammad. Ever. Because that's what he does to protect you. So I guess just mail the check. Wherever.
That was like multiple, I think.
It's got to be at least 2, right? All right. Anyway, we'll dress like Tim Dillon does to do. Anytime we're gonna go into our pay to play, we'll put on a nice costume and a nice spirit store, whatever Hasidic costume or rabbi costume, whatever he had.
Spirit of Judaism.
Anyway, okay. I'm not going to fall down the hole of Tim Dillon shopping for costumes. What the hell were we talking about? Okay.
Gaza,
yeah. So, that's off the screen here. All right. So, in practice, military's going to move back. They're going to move back to a certain line that they've talked about moving back to. The two sides have agreed on this line already. Once they do that, quote unquote, the hostages are released. So all the living hostages come out within 72 hours. Yeah, within 72 hours of Israel publicly accepting this agreement. Well, that wording disturbs me because in just the news, I don't like the ad serves everyone's using. I need to turn my ad serve blocker back on. This thing they're advertising, we'll go ahead and pull it up for the people at home. This blue thing, this blue thing appears as some sort of marital aid, and they advertise it for the prostate or a urologist in this ad. It sure looks like it's something that goes up the tuchus. And sometimes, whether it's a fun marital aid for good times or a medical device for the tuchus, I don't really want to see it all the time. And it's odd to me, the number of sites that use ad services, which is one good thing about like the Blaze got rid of like all their ads. And which is nice because it's shocking because like the Blaze, they have lots of like very Christian type folks involved, and you'd see these ads that for like Temu or something, but it was like borderline softcore pornography, and you go, I'm trying to read a nice article about, you know, the Shroud of Turin, and now I've got naked Asian chicks and prostate butt plugs here. Anyway, I've gotten distracted. See, this is why they don't need the ads. It's distracting, is what I'm trying to say. So, but in this ad, from just not the ad, in the article, look, there's another one. There's another one. Look, here's one picture, and there's another one. It's got a bend to it. They're two different ones, unless it's bendable.
It's clinically proven. So
I know. I mean, if you don't like it, you can shove it up. Never mind. Yeah. Okay. So you can't even pick a position without it.
This is just great. This is amazing.
You save $130. Code extra 20.
Another check's in the mail.
MV Health, people. Free ad read. Not free. We will send you an invoice. But what they say, let's see. What if I click this? Because it says Israel. Okay. Yeah, so this is all Benjamin Netanyahu said, with God's help, we will bring them all home. With God's help, we will bring them all home.
Wait, is he talking about the Palestinian hostages?
I think he's talking about the Jewish hostages.
That's right. Okay. I got confused because of the post that was below it.
Okay.
It said something about bringing 11,000 Palestinian hostages home or something like that. And I thought that was connected to his post.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Oops.
Okay, so actually, this is new since that article was written. Let's see. This was last night at 8 p.m. With the approval of the first phase of the plan, all our hostages will be brought home. This is a diplomatic success and a national and moral victory for the state of Israel. From the beginning, I made it clear we will not rest until all of our hostages return and our goals are achieved. Through the steadfast resolve, powerful military action, and the great efforts of our great friend and ally, President Trump, we have reached this critical turning point. I thank President Trump for his leadership, his partnership, and his unwavering commitment to the safety of Israel and the freedom of our hostages. God bless Israel. God bless America. God bless our great alliance. That seems like it's publicly agreeing, right? Because it says, within 72 hours of Israel publicly accepting the agreement, it feels like that's a public acceptance, right? Surely that is.
I mean, he's blessing, he's thanking, like, yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like this thing could fall apart no matter what, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. So 72 hours. That was almost 24 hours ago. So within the next 2 days, if you're listening to this, you know, sometimes Friday, Saturday. So Saturday or Sunday, I guess. I don't know. Time zones are magic and no one understands them. But so sometime this weekend, the hostages are supposed to be released, the Israeli hostages. And they have a little math on that, too. So Israel will release 250 life sentence prisoners, plus 1,700 Gazans who are detained, including women and children, detained in that context. For every Israeli hostage who remains released, Israel... Wait, correct?
Whose remains?
Oh, whose remains, thank you. Remains are released. Israel will release the remains of 15 deceased guys. So Israel is sitting on a stack of remains of Gazans, and the thought is that Hamas is sitting on a stack of Israeli remains. There's going to be a whole bunch of Folgers cans of sand going back and forth.
These people are sick.
Yeah. So I don't know how many of these hostages are going to be alive. But hopefully they all come home one way or the other. I just don't know. This is where I think it gets squirrely, right? So say, I don't know how many hostages are left because they had that one round of releases and then there was more. So whatever number they've agreed upon, because I imagine that was discussed in here, like all the hostages. Well, how many is that? Well, our numbers show you have this many. I would hope, I mean, surely, like you have at least this many. My concern is, let's say the number's 250, right? They get 175 hostages. They get the remains of, they get remains of 75 more, right? We're at 250. And then Israel calls it not credible. You go, well, we've gotten 175 hostages back, but these remains are not the remains of 75 different hostages. We think you're still holding hostages. And these people are like, no. They died, and we buried them or burnt them or did whatever we did with the corpse. We don't really want to talk about that. But they're dead, and we don't have remains, so here's a Folgers can of sand, And so I don't know. This feels like we're at the sticking point where they go, sorry, until you give me every hostage, we go boom, boom. And I don't think Hamas has the ability to give the number of hostages that Israel is requiring. I don't think they are alive, and I don't think their remains have been held. Perhaps there are shirts or something that would be accepted, but I can easily see that would not be accepted. It'll just be...
I mean, even if they did, they don't.
Yeah, like even if they accept it as true, they're not gonna say it. Yeah. So I think, unfortunately, I think that is where this whole thing falls apart. I think even if Hamas has nothing left, they're like, we don't even have any prisoners left. We don't have nothing left. I think that's where this whole thing falls apart, and I think we start booming again. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll last all the way through the 72-hour period. That would be the over in my poll. But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't last that long at all. I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, just based on history alone, Bibi Netanyahu said we accomplished our goals. And that's what gives me skepticism that this is actually over.
Let's see. What do you say? Success. Diplomatic success will not rest. Through great efforts, we reach the critical turning point.
Until all of our goals are, yes.
Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. All of your goals? I don't want all of BB's goals to be like... that's a one state solution is all of his goals. So I don't know. It's happening. I hope it lasts. But I have not a lot of confidence, in part because of history. I did see a lot of people. Okay. So remember we were talking about after Israel started striking Iran directly with their military, and Iran started striking Israel back directly with their military in response. We talked about how it was frustrating to see the spin in real time. So Israel strikes a missile silo in Tehran. They go, hey, we struck a missile silo in Tehran. They were using that missile silo to shoot missiles at us. You go, okay, sounds like a military target. Iran shoots a missile silo in Tel Aviv that Israel's using to shoot at Iran, and they take it out. And Israel goes, these monsters are striking a populated area, and leave out the fact that it was a military installation that they put in a populated area, which, if you got no options, or even if you do, whatever. So you put it there, but it's like, technically you fired into a populated area as well. It was just a military installation. Same with when the Palestinians would hit them with a mortar or something. They'd hit them back. The whole building collapses. And they go, well, we're not trying to shoot a populated area. We're shooting military stuff that those cowards hide among the people. And it's like, wow, it seems like you hide them among the people too. That seems, I guess, cowardly according to you. But I've been noticing that same thing this agreement, one of the things that was surprising to us when we went through the 20 points is that they specify women and children. Now, I am kind of an old school kind of fella. You know, I don't kill women, I don't kill children. You know, that kind of thing. Obviously, if it's a female soldier, a woman soldier, and you kill her on the battlefield, I guess that's just what it is. You know, she's got a gun. She's got a gun. You know, she's part of the battle. But generally speaking, mothers and their children should not be captured, killed. The innocents, you should try to avoid the innocents. You know, and you don't need to take them POW. Now, if you take women and children as prisoners without them being convicted of a crime, you're just holding them, I guess, prisoner of war. But if you're holding someone prisoner in hopes that it will help you get leverage on a certain situation and get an outcome that you would like, what's another word for that prisoner? It's kind of like the definition of a hostage. And so I'm all about hostages coming home, like the Israeli hostages, and just whoever's being held hostage. I want them to come home. But these people who are like dunking on it, like dunking, blah, blah, blah. It's about time these hostages are coming home, the monsters and Hamas and yada, yada, yada. And you go, well, hey, y'all, it was a required part of this agreement that explicitly had to be said that you will not hold the women and children any longer. That's not good guy behavior. You know, like, it's not good to hold women and children hostage. And this is one of the reasons Israel is not, for a country with such a big tech sector, you know, they do not seem to have a good grasp on social media and its ability to transmit different opinions. Perhaps that's why BB's meeting with all the influencers to gain that influence back. But it's why they're falling out of favor. You can't just lie constantly. You know? You lie constantly, people don't believe you about anything. You go, oh, these guys are bad for doing this. And people go, well, you just did it. You go, that's different when we do it. And you go, oh, okay. It's like they took someone hostage. It's like, in response, you took hostages. It's like, yeah, but they did it first. You go, we were always told he did it first didn't matter, you know? Is it moral or is it immoral? And I don't know. I think that's the constant deception and the blatant ham-fisted manipulation attempts is why, like, Israel's really fallen out of favor, especially with the youth who are going like, I'm going to go to college today. And you go, oh, what's on the TikTok? You go, oh, more dead Palestinian babies. That's what I wanted to begin my day, was corpses of infants. And Israel goes, nope, just killing bad guys. We tell them we don't want to kill the babies. We say, get the babies out, but Hamas says the babies stay. And you're like, I'm willing to accept that there are times that Hamas has not let Palestinians leave an area to maximize, quote unquote, martyrs to make Israel look worse. I accept that. 100% of the time? 100% of the time? I don't think 100% of the time. What about when the beepers blew up? That wasn't Hamas going, all right, let's make sure some children hold these beepers. They might have held the beepers because they didn't know they were bombs, but it's not 100% of the time that you can just blame someone. When you're the one shooting, when you're the one dropping the bomb, when you're the one exploding the pager, you have to take responsibility for some of the stray fire. I mean, if if you're in a gunfight and you shoot some randos, there might be some consequences. I was defending myself against that. I was defending myself against Charlie. I just accidentally shot, Tina over there because I'm not a good shot or whatever. They go, okay, well, that's fine, but that is manslaughter at the very least. That's manslaughter. You do have to do some time for that, unless you got a great lawyer.
Yeah, but calling ahead and saying, "Hey, get out of your building. We're gonna bomb it." Well, that there's women and children in there, so you're trying to show good faith by calling ahead, but you still bomb it anyways without confirmation that everyone's out.
Well, and they'll play this phone footage. I'm sure you've heard the phone call before, where it's like IDF calls, and they go, "Hey, you need to get all the women and children out of the building. We're going to bomb it." And they go, "Nope, you may make us martyrs. We are happy to die for the cause. We will not tell anyone. Please, brother, get them out. You don't need to die. Please, brother." And they go, "No, we want the world to see what monsters you are, And so you go, like, in that situation, you go, all right, well, the people on the ground, to a degree, are monsters for going, nah, you kill all of us if you have to." But on the other side, okay, if they go, well, we had to do it, there's a big ass missile launcher in there. It's like, all right, why don't you just go in there and take out the missile launcher? Oh, we're not supposed to. We said it's independent. It's like, it's not independently governed. Okay, fine. It's Israel still. According to you, the map needs to say Israel. It's 1960 whatever borders, but it's still Israel on the map. You do not like it when people recognize Palestine as an independent state. And, anyway. If you are in a situation where you have a bad guy that's playing a good guy, and they go, "Yeah, man, we just go and tear down houses anytime, but we make sure we tell the people to get out first." Like, how about this? Say, Bank of America, they hold a bunch of mortgages, right? And so, say you got a bunch of people that own houses, and Bank of America goes, we want to build a development or something. Let's get them all out, and we're good guys. We'll pay them back what they've paid in, and we'll forgive the loan at that point, So yeah, so you're made whole, and so we're giving them good money. We just want to get them out, and we own the house technically, and there's some clause that lets us do it, just for the sake of argument. So they call and they go, and so they do that, and then they go, no, we're doing a great thing. Look, we donate the money to this, and we're rehousing them. We're rehousing them in this project over here. We're rehousing everybody. Look how good we are. And at some point you go, you know what? I don't want to leave my house. You're actually not a good guy in my eyes. And so if you're going to tear down my house, you have to tear it down with me in it. And that's only, I'm not leaving. So you tear it down with me in it. You kill me and the women and children in this building. That way everyone can see what a monster you are, because I'm tired of running. I'm tired of having to live this way, So, and then you go, let's see what happens. They tear down the building and kill everybody. And they go, well, we warned them. We warned them not to do it. You go, well, you still murdered a household full of people who were not combatants, And even with that phone call alone that Israel makes, the IDF makes, please get out of the building. We're going to bomb it. What's the military strategy there?
Right.
Yeah, we're going to bomb it in an hour. So Moscow's, well, I'm going to get everything of value out of here in an hour. Maybe, well, you cannot take apart a complex missile launching system. They don't have complex systems. They're shooting mortars and stuff, So that makes it all the stranger. Because you go, what are you, who will you be getting?
You're not allowed to disassemble the weapons.
Yeah. It's what, how is this good strategy? Everyone get out of the building, we're going to blow it up. So you killed Hamas? No, they left because you called ahead. They took anything of value out. I mean, it seems ridiculous. It seems like a ridiculous strategy.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of operations that I've read about, you know, the U.S. military discovers something on the ground, and they're like, "Hey, we need to level this because of what's inside of it." But we're already there. We've already cleared the building,
Right?
And then there's nobody in it. Like, we're not doing it from afar, lazily.
Yeah, just making phone calls. Say, hey, we think there's military stuff in there. And they go, oh, there is. We better get out. We're going to blow it. I mean, don't get me wrong. We drone a lot of stuff. And a lot of times it ends up being a mistake. We drone a wedding. We've droned some people that should not have been droned. Some, were bad guys. Some celebrating a wedding. But yeah, so I guess with that, it's just having that as your brag about your humanitarian side, that we like to make sure everyone's out of the building. But what is the benefit? Well, below that house is a Hamas base or whatever. Send in troops. It's just lazy. It's lazy. You go, it's going to make things worse. It's going to make it worse than blowing up households of people. It's going to make it worse than that. Well, we'll be in a hot conflict. Yeah, you've been in a hot conflict forever.
It's scorching.
Yeah, you're blowing up a building down to rubble because you say that beneath the building there's a problem, and that everyone needs to leave because you're about to blow up their home where they live. Imagine anybody that lives in a city, anybody that lives in an apartment. You got all your stuff in there. And people are, hey, get out, we're about to blow it up. So, you grab your kids, grab some clothes, you grab your pet or whatever if you have one. You run out of there. And, well, I'm glad I survived. Well, now you're homeless. And you're not the only one. All your neighbors are homeless. And you're all right, well, I guess I'll find a place to live. And you weren't in the military. You weren't a terrorist. You weren't anything. You just lived there. So, anyway, we're kind of getting off on a tangent here, but it's this Israel's having a harder time selling this view that they are reluctant warriors defending themselves, and they have no other options when they're sitting behind a computer and dropping a missile on someone's apartment complex. Even if it's clearly empty of anybody that could be in Hamas because they called ahead and said we're going to bomb it. So it's clearly empty. You still drop it. It's insane. It's insane. It's an insane strategy. It's insane that so many people can. I get people that go, I don't really know. That's fine. It's over there. We're not living it. I don't really know. But people who full-throated endorse it, they go, I've been over there. And I've seen that you can't drive over this one part, or they say, we cannot guarantee your safety. It's not sand people of Star Wars over there that just start bing, bing. They don't alert each other and just start firing at you. I would suggest entering by way of Israel, because most people that do come in that way tend to be IDF, and they tend to be not so happy, or they're government people. But even when the government people come in and when the settlers come in and try to chew off little bits of land, no one has killed them. They're coming in and taking over homes. They're coming in and just nibbling. Sometimes I'm sure they're armed, but I've seen some of the videos when they're proudly going over, and you go, you're kind of armed, I guess, bats and stuff, but it's not some terror hole you're falling down. And yeah, I'm not going to be saying I'm so brave, I'm going to cross this line and nothing will ever happen to me. That's foolish. I also didn't build a wall around a neighborhood in my country. And I said, hey, y'all stay there forever. Or leave. Or die. But, you know, you're not allowed to be your own country. And we're not going to support you as if you're citizens of our country.
Well, that wall was supposed to keep people out, not in.
Hey, little Ron Paul reference there. Build the wall. It is, you know, but it is. So look at. I mean, it's very different in a lot of ways, of course. But look at what we're doing with illegal aliens, right? We have a lot of people that came in here. Let's ignore the criminal element for right now. A lot of people come in, they get a job, they steal an ID, steal a social security number in order to get a payroll. Yes, that's criminal. I got it. Non-violent crime. They work, they do whatever. We try to get them out. We go, hey, you don't belong here. People are actually able to take advantage of you, pay you less than working wages. You know, you can get paid less than minimum wage. They can treat you like slaves. You have no legal protections for the most part. I mean, they really do. But if they have that constant threat of being shipped out of the country, then it feels like you have no legal protections. And so part of the thing is like go in the right way. Otherwise, there's a lot of people that are going to take advantage of you. What Israel's doing is saying, stay over here. You have no protections in this country. Ever. You can never have protections in this country. Whatever happens over there is up to you. But also, you're not a country. Like, it's our land. We'll let you stay until now. We'll let you stay there. But you have no legal protections. Everyone's a citizen. You who were born here for generations, you don't actually have any citizenship rights. You have no rights. According to Israel. But you can do as long as you're on that side of the wall, you can do whatever you want until we bomb it. It's just wild.
And then you can still stay there in the rubble if you want.
Until you die. Yeah.
But you have to stay there.
Yeah, stay in the rubble, obviously. Or move to a different country. You go, well, I don't have any money or possessions. You blew them all up. Wish you weren't a terrorist. Wish you weren't a terrorist. I mean, that is this system. The more
should have exited the building when we called.
That's right. You bombed my bank. Should have banked with us. Oh my God.
Wow.
That was an accidental anti-Semitic kind of thing.
Stop payment on those checks.
Really? What did I see? Well, maybe we don't need to dive in. As I was ranting, it reminded me of something. We're talking about this is an interesting thought, right? So, you go back in time, right? We're talking biblical times, right? So, Israel, you know, the Jewish people are sitting there, they're growing. At some point, in the region, they are a powerhouse, to the point that, you know, during like New Testament stuff, a lot of things is like, you know, a lot of the Jesus stuff is like, well, y'all have used what was guides from God for living a good life. You've turned them into a law, and you've used the law you've corrupted from there. And so you're taking this thing and you've manipulated it. And, you know, who was the meek is now the powerful and whatever. Right. And so then, like, I don't know if it's technically the Ottoman Empire, but basically Muslims come through and they go, hey, no Jews allowed, pretty much. They didn't actually go up around in everybody, but if you're prominent in government, and everybody, you know, it was Israel in the Old Testament, New Testament kind of days, and, you know, shortly thereafter. And so odds are if you're prominent, you were Jewish, and they go, you got to go. So they kicked a lot of people out, but a lot of normal civilians, you know, peasants and whatnot. They had nowhere to go. They don't have anything. Think about movies of these times. You know, camels are expensive. And they come from Australia, but horses and all this kind of stuff, you don't have a lot, and you will have to walk for God knows when. So imagine you are a Jewish family. You have your little home. You farm a little bit just to try to survive. And this guy comes up on a horse, and they go, "Do you love Allah now, or do we kill you?" You go, "Yeah, no, Allah's great." I was just telling them how great Allah is. And they're like, "What do you think of Judaism?" "I think it stinks. Like, I've never liked it. Never liked it. I didn't know there was another way. Thanks for opening my eyes. There is one God, Allah, Muhammad is his prophet. Inshallah, I'll be a good Muslim." You switch fast, is what I'm saying. You just go, whatever, I don't have to leave my home and you're not going to kill me. Whatever you want me to be, I will be that. Obviously, there's people that hold on to tradition and all that kind of stuff. Yada, yada, yada. But, generation. Hundreds of years. Thousands, maybe. So, there's a possibility. And when it was conquered, lots of Muslims did move in to Israel from the rest of the kingdom. So there was that. But still, there's a portion of the population that was the original people of Israel who did not leave when they were conquered and likely converted to Islam to avoid death, probably then at some point interbred with all the new people that came in. So the Palestinians, who've been there for a while, to a certain degree, could be the people written about in the Old Testament, the original people of Israel, God's chosen people. Just a thought experiment. It's just logistically possible.
Yeah. I mean, yes. And it's not a low percentage of it possibility. It's high.
Yeah, there's just no way they got... I mean, the Jews did enjoy wandering through deserts for a few years. They loved it. But at some point, you're down walking, but for real, like that, just logistically, you're not going to move out.
They've done it many times.
They love the walking in the sand. That's why they all moved to Miami. Sorry, that was funnier to me than I think anybody else. But
Boca,
no,
in Lauderdale.
All right, you're right. When you're right, you're right. But yeah, so I mean, theoretically, you could expel an entire people, but odds are, I mean, they're also probably they make the whatever the people had, the horseshoes and the whatever the hell, they farm the wheat, they do, whatever the systems in place, whatever the economy is probably based on the people who existed there already. And if you can conquer them, you don't need to worry about throwing them out and figuring out who's going to come in and start growing the wheat. You just go, all right, do what we say now, and you stay.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
You keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I think the odds are not insignificant that the blood lineage of many Palestinians has a history that goes all the way back to Old Testament Jewish blood or whatever. Heritage. Something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying. All right.
That's why all of this is stupid.
It really is shocking. It's Rodney King said it best, high on crack. Why can't we all just get along? That's what they need over there. More crack.
Call up BB right now.
It's like Mossad probably has a good line on some crack based on their homies at CIA manufacturing it to move cocaine through the inner city to fund their black operation wars. Maybe crack does solve everything. Do you know about KAT? KHAT? Maybe it's COT. but I think it's cat. It is this drug that is real popular in like Yemen and a couple other Middle Eastern places, but it's some sort of leafy type thing. But it's like chewing tobacco. You put like a huge wad in your cheek, So you see these guys are just like, big wad out there. And it's some sort of like super stimulant. And I think it has a bit of a euphoric thing to it too. But I guess a lot of the radicalized population, or at least a lot of military-aged men, basically a bunch of young men, love it. And people grow the hell out. And if you're trying to raise an army, if you're trying to get 18 or 16 to 20-something-year-old dudes who are already hyped up on doing stupid stuff, if you really want them to feel good about it, you get them on some sort of stimulant, and especially with a little skosh of euphoria. And so anyway, that's running rampant out there. And I did see somebody one time that when some of the Yemen stuff started popping off with the Houthis, and where someone was like, just destroy the cat fields, and you'll have a bunch of junkies going through withdrawal. You go, that's actually not the worst idea I've ever heard. See what happens. See what happens. Undermine. I mean, like Yemen needs to be undermined anymore, but might be better than the plague and pestilence and everything else. All right. So the other thing, we are in day 9 of government shutdown. Of course, everyone's sad about it. There are people who get pensions and whatnot through the government, and I'm sure that is challenging, or active duty pay. Everyone does get back pay, but that doesn't necessarily help with day-to-day bills. So I know there's a lot of people who are flight traffic controllers too. A lot of people who really would prefer to get paid than to work for free. And I do think that we should rewrite. I think it sounds illegal. It sounds like a violation of their employee contract to just be like, we're not going to pay you. And we're not going to pay you. It's like, oh, lay them off. We can't lay off air traffic controllers. We can't lay off the military. It's like, well, then you have to pay them. Lay them off or pay them. We didn't get our funding. It's like, cancel something else. There's, as far as like what's necessary and what's unnecessary, employment contracts seem necessary. If you don't like that section of the government, for me, that's all of them, shut it down, fire them all. But don't do it because of funding. Well, do it to save some money, but not because of a government shutdown, this theater of less than 20% of our government being closed, and it just happens to be all the military people and air traffic controllers. It's like, really? So everything is like 80 plus percent is super important, except for paying the military, the air traffic controllers. I mean, TSA I get, but it does seem like we have weird priorities, a weird schedule of things, all the different machinations of the government that just keep going. IRS, fine. What if the IRS agents get paid? Hope not. Hope not. But in this... Is this what I want to get into? Yeah, I guess so. So one of the questions is in all this is, who is it going to bite in the butt worse, really, at the end of the day? I mean, that shouldn't be the big thing, but it's a game. This is a game of politics, right? So we have the budget. This quote-unquote clean CR they want to pass is just a continuation of the Biden era budget passed by Democrats. That's what it is. Republicans are all about it right now because it's easy. You don't have to think. And they say, hey, we're not adding anything. That's conservatism. And then the Democrats are saying, no, we need to add things. Otherwise, Republicans are monsters. And there are like something about subsidies that are expiring. Sorry about your luck. We have a stupid insurance system. This system's broken. We don't have time for all that. But all right. So Democrats go, well, it's all about Affordable Care Act subsidies, and we want people to have health care. The Republicans are trying to rob people of health care. Republicans say, they're trying to give it to illegals, which is kind of true too. But at the end of the day, it's just a stalemate. It's just a stalemate until 7 Democrats go over and vote with Republicans. I think Fetterman probably already has, so it's probably down to 6. Because Fetterman can be kind of critical of some of these things. I also think he is enamored by AIPAC. I wonder how much he gets from AIPAC because he's strong supporter of Israel. He said that Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize when asked about it. He goes, well, it's about ending wars and making peace. So, so right now, Democrats are betting heavy that it looks good for them. Republicans are betting heavy that it looks good for them. Currently, Democrats are correct. One of the interesting things was... here, this does have the sentence. This is the brilliant MSNBC. Get out of here, maybe later on. But they quote, I'm just going to read this one sentence from here. On the first day of the shutdown, Washington Post released a poll finding that 47% of adults blamed Republicans and 30% said it was Democrats' fault. Independents were twice as likely to blame Trump and Republicans and Democrats, 50% to 22%. So the first day of the shutdown, the poll came out that they did before the shutdown. They had to poll people. Did they get it all done in that same day? This is odd to me.
I don't know why I took statistics if I'm not supposed to follow like the rules of getting good data.
Well, it's politics. That's the way the politics treats math. It's horrible because it is about just going into. It's the way that big pharma treats statistics too. You just do it until you get that number you want and go boom. That's the number. You do polls to create stories. Like Washington Post did a poll to say, hey, who do you blame for the shutdown if it happens tomorrow? Democrats, Republicans. You call enough people, Republicans. They go, we got a story tomorrow. As soon as it shuts down, it goes, everybody blames the Republicans. You go, well, that's crazy since it just happened. How did you poll everyone? How could they feel this way before it happened?
Yeah, and how many did you poll?
Well, there's all that. There's how you ask the question, how you summon
5 people.
Normally, yeah. Oh, that's the thing. I always like to see the margin of error too, because you'd be like, it's a 3-point advantage towards the Democrats. It's Democrats have it. Margin of error 4. You go, wait a second. So it could be Republicans by 5, is what you're saying? That's an equally true story. And then articles, this may cause cancer, right? Equally true headline. This may not cause cancer. It's the exact same sentence. It's just whether or not you put the not in there. It may or it may not. That's how May works. Other than being a brilliant season when brilliant people are born. Lovely people, beautiful people. Some say the best people. But okay, so as of day 0, everyone was like, yeah, mainly Republicans. And there's been more polls that have gone through since. As it goes out, I'm not going to go through all these, but as it goes out, the margins get slimmer. They get slimmer and slimmer. And some polls are close to even. So that tells you, although on the front end, people went, okay, it's Trump and Republicans, obviously. As it goes on, they're not saying Democrats aren't to blame. They're saying, you're all to blame. You all suck, which I personally love. There's certain polls that have been like recent where it's, who's to blame? Democrats, Republicans, both. Like both ends up at like 61%. And, Democrats and Republicans split the rest. And you go, see, more people say Republicans on that one. It's like, yeah, whatever it is, 29% or something. Whereas 60-something% said both y'all, And so I'm glad that that's how it's going. Anyway, all that to say that this is, I don't think, paying off for the Democrats, and I think it's making them look bad. I wonder, they just don't seem to get a good hold of the narrative, is what I'm saying. They're along for the ride. Even if people are blaming the Republicans for the shutdown, they're also saying that the Democrats are not effective and they're inept in the same polls. They go, they're not strong, they're not effective, they're pushovers, and Republicans are to blame, but they're, they're effective. And so I don't think going into midterms what you want is to be the ineffective party that doesn't get anything done. And they go, well, elect us to the majority, and then we can get stuff done. That's the normal refrain from both of these parties for midterms. But I don't know. It's not the strongest footing. Trump did say, I don't think this actually, I think somehow this didn't end up sharing to this screen. Look at that crazy woman. Yeah, no, it didn't end up sharing over here. Oh, well. Trump basically came out to say that he's going to start cutting programs that Democrats like. He goes, yeah, I'm cutting Democrat programs. And you go, well, there's no real Democrat programs. There's just programs. Yeah, I'm going to cut the ones that Democrats like, and it's going to be permanent. He said, we're going to give them a taste of their own medicine. They did this shutdown, so they're going to see what it's like to feel some of this pain that the normal people are feeling. You know, Chuck Schumer was foolish enough to say in an interview that every day it gets better and better for them. And so J.D. Vance pounced on that, and he took that out, like that softball pitch, and he goes, better for him, but worse for everyday Americans. This is vile. This is a vile comment or whatever. And it's just such just a softball, just, whoop, here you go, better for us Democrats. And it's just, like, this is bad politic. Why do you think this budget that Democrats have approved a dozen or more times before, that they passed originally, why right now is Chuck Schumer, because it got through the House, I mean barely, but it got through the House, why is Chuck Schumer creating such a stink about this CR right now?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of other things that are going on at the same time. I mean, it could be a multitude. It's a distraction for a multitude of things.
I mean, it is that. It's definitely a distraction.
I'm not sure what else.
Here's a big one. Wanting to stay in power, right? And I'm not talking about getting the majority back. I'm talking about AOC. So right now, the energy in the Democratic Party is on what people might refer to as the radical left wing, but people friendly to democratic socialism, people who are either proudly part of it or pretty friendly with it, people who are very pro-Palestine, anti-Israel, and also a little pro-democratic socialist, you know? So it's like this sort of fired up, willing to riot sort of wing of the Democratic Party that has the energy. The social safety net, moderate sort of Democrat. They're the ones that have the money outside the sources, but they don't have the pull within the party, especially in certain regions like New York, like New York City, Mamdani he's probably going to beat Cuomo for the second time, because he already beat Cuomo once, which is why Adams should have stayed in and Cuomo should have quit. But Cuomo's so awful, he's just like, nah, it'll be fine. And maybe he's gonna rig the election. He's a Cuomo. They've got some New York roots.
I can't tell if I want him to or not.
Well, that is the funny part. He goes, obviously he's thinking he can peel off Republican votes because Curtis Silva, who's running again, he's not gonna win. He's running as a Republican, but there's gonna be a lot of people that I think he's correct that there's going to be a number of Republicans who vote for him to stop Mamdani, But everyone knows Cuomo's awful, and he's going to be awful, and he might be awful. He might be in power for 4, 5, 6 terms. Who knows? His dad was there forever. So how long is this guy? This guy who's used to being the guy running the political machine. Mamdani, he might come in and a lot of the stuff he says he wants to do, he can't do anyway. A lot of stuff he wants to do, it has to be done by his job currently. It's got to be the council or the commissioners or whatever it is. But And so there's a lot of things he says that he wants to do. The mayor doesn't have that power anyway. And so you go, okay, so you have this somewhat novice that comes in there with a bunch of bold ideas that he's not even authorized to do. He'll be in there maybe one term, and people go, all right, we're over this, let's vote for a Democrat who's an independent, But that's the thing. Mamdani, he has stupid ideas, but hasn't been as corrupted yet. He started off with stupid ideas, but if he is a commie, like if he's like a commie Islamist,
yes,
who got there on his own, who's not part of a bigger machine.
Okay.
Well, I just mean if he got to that thought on his own, like it's a natural thought he has, right? And he gets in there and he just sort of like bounces around, being like, "I like to rap on TikTok and da 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 da. Look, I'm gonna high five people and things." Like, will that be worse versus maybe 20 years of a Andrew Cuomo mayoral machine? Like, what would be worse? Like, Mamdani's not going to get 20 years out of this gig. He's not going to get probably 2 terms out of the gig. Because if he gets anything going, it's going to be a failure. And so I don't know. I don't know that Cuomo's any better. But that's what I was saying. So you got New York, Chuck Schumer State. AOC has now been a congresswoman for quite a long time. She has gotten savvy politically. She's kind of learned how DC runs. And so the next step, unless you're going to be going governor, is senator. Schumer's old. It's about time for Schumer to retire. And if he is like, well, I'm a fighter. I'm going to fight Donald Trump and I'm going to get him. And then he goes, see, I'm fighting. Don't primary me. I'm fighting. But if it's like, if he's perceived as rolling over for the Trump administration, because the more quote unquote radical left wing, they do want the fight. They're fine with the shutdown. They go fight them, and put out the Epstein files. And so I think most of this is Schumer trying to avoid being primaried, and the leadership in Congress, whether Senate or the House, has a shocking amount of power. They control so many purse strings. They personally can, because you can donate from your campaign to someone else's campaign. To be like a speaker or president of the Senate, you have to be. It's not like a requirement, but it's smart. It's smart to have someone who's in a safe district, safe red, safe blue, because you don't want to worry about the Speaker of the House losing their next election to just Joe Schmo Democrat or Republican that runs. So you need to be in a very safe red or blue district. And then because you're in a safe district and you have name recognition, you spend very little, but you bring in the money. You just don't spend a lot on yourself. You spend whatever you need to, but you don't have to spend anything. Remember Distinguished Gentleman starring Eddie Murphy? He just kind of changed his name slightly, used a bunch of some other dude's yard signs, but they just saw his name on there. They voted for him. He spent nothing. It's fiction, but it wouldn't have to be. That is really how things work. That's Matt Gaetz, how he got elected. His dad was elected for a long time. His dad was very well respected. Now it's Gaetz, same area, same name. I liked his dad. I'm sure he's fine too, So by not spending a lot of money, you have a war chest. And when you're running to be Speaker of the House, President of the Senate, you do it through bribery a lot of times. You go, here, $100,000, $100,000, $100,000. $100,000. It's not your money. It's just your war chest. And so okay, we'll vote for you. You have given us all $100,000, bought our votes, boom. And now your fundraising kicks up another notch. And then you really have power. And then the ability to keep people on or off of committees that are also lucrative. You have that power. You can call for someone to be primaried and lose their job. I mean, you have a lot of power, so people are not quick to buck the leadership, and they shouldn't, and they often get punished when they do. So I think a lot of this is Schumer not wanting AOC to primary him. I think he was worried about that generally speaking, but I think if he folds too quickly, I think he thinks he'll lose. I think he thinks he'll lose because he has to somehow sell the voters that he's more charismatic than AOC, this old gremlin, versus this young pretty, bold politician. It's just like, yeah, good luck. Good luck.
Just retire.
He should just retire, but he don't want to because you got to hold on to that power.
I don't get it.
Just hold the power.
It baffles me. It seriously baffles me.
I think it's an addiction to the power and the trappings. Obviously they use it to get wealthy. You would think they'd be happy to just be wealthy up in Martha's Vineyard or whatever.
Whichever house.
Yeah, just pick a house. But I don't think. I think they like. I think they like the sport of it. They like the cutthroat, just strategy and backstabbing and all the stuff. I think they like all of it, and I think they like having people grovel to them. And they go, I don't know. I'll think about it. You're tired. No one's groveling to you. People have lunch with you or whatever, but it's just, hey, Chuck, how you doing? It's like, oh, doing good. Spending time with my beautiful wife.
Come on.
I was just saying. Chuck would say.
Come on.
He'd just say it to his name. I'm just spending time with my beautiful wife.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We got bathtubs next to one another by the window, so we can do the dual bathtub looking out the window thing. Mm-hmm. A smoking wife.
Yeah.
He's like, I got an extra large bottle of Levitra. It's like, Matt Gaetz told me about mixing that with Adderall and Red Bull.
He told me.
He said you mix Viagra and Red Bull and Adderall. He says it's a good time, and me and my beautiful bride are about to have a night. Matt Gaetz does actually suggest mixing.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, he likes it for his parties he goes to. And it got him into a little bit of trouble. Well, that seems like a good note to end things. Like, subscribe, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, hit the alerts. All this stuff helps the algorithm. Check out our clips. If you've made it this far, we got lots of clips. Those are good for sharing with friends, whether they're shorts or the not as shorts. But all these things help. So do that because we're desperate to be bribed to influence you, and we can't get the $7,000 checks without enough views. So influence your friends so we can influence you for money from corrupt governments. Charlie, what do you have to say?
Well, the grok factoid of the day is on October 9th, 1876, Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Watson conducted the first two-way telephone conversation over a 2-mile wire between Boston and Cambridge, Massachusetts.
And it was shocking how quickly it devolved into phone sex. All right, see you later.